What up, you fluffy bastards? My name is Liquid Blitz, and okay, right off the bat, I'm going to say I was going to make a sort of a is it worth using video for all the DLC weapons from the first DLC, and I was going to do them all in one video in one of my long videos. But little did I know that each weapon has an easy but time-consuming challenge to unlock each weapon. You know, things like get 50 kills with this weapon, then get 20 headshots with that weapon. There's a double challenge like that for every single new weapon. And because I suck balls, it will take me ages. So in order to be sort of timely and regular, I thought I would do sort of an in-depth analysis of every weapon in its own video. And thinking about it, this allows me to go into much more detail than if I did all the weapons in one video. Keep in mind that all the DLC weapons just dropped, and with this type of game, any sort of newly released weapons tend to get buffed or nerfed before too long, so there's a good chance that the stats that I'm going to go into in this video may change. But that being said, let's get right into this shit! The first DLC weapon to stand trial, the one that we're going to go into today, is the... Okay, it's French, and if my research is to be believed, it's pronounced fuck me, I can't say it, man. Ribeyrolles. I don't know any French, and I don't like pronouncing words in French, so I'm gonna call it the Ribeyrolles, okay? Just go along with it. The Ribeyrolles 1918 Factory SMG. What I'm going to do in this video is go through the most important facts. I'm going to filter out all the extra bullshit that you don't really need to know. Just cover the most important things. And I'm going to compare those stats to the three most similar weapons in the same class. And I'm going to go into hyper detail. And if you aren't interested in sort of hyper detail and stats and shit, I'm going to include a hyperlink on the screen to skip to the summary version at the end of the video. So if you're not interested in all these stats and shit, just jump straight to the summary and I will cover everything very quickly in that summary. Now, as usual with all my videos, I'm going to include the stats on the screen so you can just ignore me if you want to and just look at the stats. The three weapons I'm going to compare the Ribeyrolles to are the Automatico Factory, because it's a factory weapon, the Hellriegel Factory, again because it's factory weapon, and the MP18 Optical, because that's the most similar stats-wise to a factory weapon. I basically wanted three different weapons, the MP18, Hellriegel, and the Automatico. Now, the first and most important stats are damage and sort of range. Now, as with all SMGs, the maximum damage is always 23, no matter what SMG you're using, and the Ribeyrolles is no different. 23 max damage, up to 11 meters. And then from then on, it drops all the way to 46 meters, the damage drops down to 15, so it's a minimum damage of 15. Now that is the highest of any SMG, so right straight away, we're off to a good start. It's got the best minimum damage, so it's better at range than any other SMG. Now, for some bizarre reason, in-game it says the damage is 24, but that is wrong, like 100% just incorrect. It's 23, so I don't know why they've put 24 there. Now, as you can see, the minimum damage of the other three weapons are 12, 13.5, and 13.5, but take note that the distance that it reaches the minimum damage is shorter. It's 43 meters, and 42 meters, whereas the Ribeyrolles is 46 meters. So there you go. It's got a longer range and a higher damage. So far, we're off to a really good start. It's got the longest range of all SMGs. Next, we move on to fire rate. Now, unfortunately, it's got the joint lowest fire rate of all SMGs. 550, tied with the MP18. Unlike the Hellriegel, which is 650, slightly faster, and everyone's favourite, the Automatico, at 900, which is super fast. So that's a negative there. It's a bit of a slow fire rate. The next important stat is the mag size. Now, again, unfortunately, it's joint lowest, this time with the Automatico at 25, compared to the Hellriegel's massive 60 and the MP18's 32. That is pretty small, unfortunately. Now, those are all the simple, absolute, obvious facts. Now we're going to a bit more complex shit like recoil and spread. All you need to know here is the lower the number, the better. First of all, we have the recoil up, the vertical recoil of your weapon. The value for the Ribeyrolles is 0.42, compared to the Automatico's 0.4, the Hellriegel's 0.28, and the MP18's 0.35. Now, that means, unfortunately, the vertical recoil is higher on the Ribeyrolles than any other SMG. We've got a long list of negatives here. It's not looking good. So it has the worst upwards recoil of all SMGs. Fantastic! But, as you can see, the horizontal recoil is 0.16 compared to the others, which are 0.6, 0.38, and 0.23. That means the horizontal recoil is actually the best recoil out of all SMGs. So, worst vertical recoil, best horizontal recoil. Strange. Now, the recoil decrease, that's the speed at which the recoil recovers after firing, is 8, which is pretty much standard for SMGs, with the exception of the Automatico Factory, which is a massive, super fast 16. The next stat is an important one, but generally an overlooked stat that most people don't bother with. Just in case you didn't know, there's an extra multiplier added to the recoil of your first shot, so the recoil of your first shot is higher than the recoil of all your other shots. And the multiplier for the Ribeyrolles is 1.3 times compared to the Automatico's 2.33, the Hellriegel's 2, and the MP18's 1.8 times. And because it's the lowest value, this means the extra recoil added to the first shot for the Ribeyrolles is the lowest of all the SMGs, so there's a plus. We're breaking the negative trend. There's another plus. Now, the next important stat is reload time. Now, that is extra important for SMGs, I would say, because you're in the middle of the action and you need to know when to reload properly. Now, the first number, 2.1 seconds, that's when you've got some ammo left in your reload. It's always faster if you've got some ammo left. But if it's empty, it's 2.77 seconds. Now, as you can see, once again, that's actually the fastest reload of all SMGs. So that's another really good positive. I mean, the Automatico and the MP18 are close, but the Hellriegel is awful with 3.75 and 4.5, so that's definitely a good positive for the Ribeyrolles. Now, the next few stats are where shit gets really complicated, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to skip forward to the summary now, because this is where the numbers get confusing. In terms of spread numbers and values, there's like 15 different values in total, depending on whether you're sort of moving, not moving, standing, crouching, prone. There's loads of different values, but I'm only going to give you the most important ones. Again, all you need to know really is that the lower the number, the better. The first number that you need to be concerned with is the base spread. Now, the base spread basically means when you're not moving. And the Ribeyrolles base spread is 0.24. Now, that is better than all the other SMGs, with the exception of the MP18 Optical. And that's because optical variants, their main strength is that it has a low spread. So that can be excused. So considering the Ribeyrolles spread is on par with an optical weapon, it makes it more accurate over longer ranges than all the other SMGs, with the exception of the MP18 Optical. And that's a good thing, that's fantastic. But hold your horses! There is a catch. The catch is the next stat. The spread while moving, which is a whole different stat completely. Now, as you can see, the Ribeyrolles is at a very high 0.76, which is awful compared to every other SMG. As you can see, the Automatico is 0.5, the Hellriegel is 0.5, and the MP18, the optical variant, obviously that's going to be better, that's 0.375. But 0.76 is awful. That basically means this is not a gun you want to be firing while you're moving. Anyway, moving on. Now, the spread values you've just seen on the screen are aim down sight spread values. So it's only logical that next we look at the Hipfire spread values. And as we all know, hipfire accuracy is a big deal when it comes to SMGs. Now, unfortunately, this is where things turn to utter shit. Now, the most common circumstances where you have to hipfire, 90% of the time you're standing. So I'm only going to give you the most important values that you need to know. When you're standing and still, and when you're standing and moving. Again, the lower the number, the better. And when you're moving, it's obviously going to be worse than when you're stood still. For the Ribeyrolles, when you're standing still, the hipfire is 1.5 minimum and 2.5 maximum. But standing and moving, it's much higher with 2.25 to 3.25. Now look at the other SMG's hipfire values. The Ribeyrolles is now joint worst. Again, it seems to be joint worst with lots of things. The hipfire is joint worst with the Hellriegel. So the Ribeyrolles and the Hellriegel are the worst by far. It's awful compared to the rest, and we aren't even counting trench SMGs. For me personally, I love a good hipfire weapon, so that's sort of almost killed this weapon for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not absolutely god-awful. Like, compared to most of the weapons, it's still good, but for an SMG, it's bad. It's the same value as the Hellriegel. Now, keep in mind, the Hellriegel has 60 rounds, and it shoots slightly faster, so if you sort of think that the Hellriegel's hipfire is meh, the Ribeyrolles is even worse. Anyway, those stats on screen now, those are the only stats I'm going to bring you. There are loads more values and stats, but those are the important ones that you need to know, really. We're on a need-to-know basis here. So, to summarise the Ribeyrolles 1918 compared to all the other SMGs, by the way, hello to all those people who skipped straight to the summary. Hello! Summary. The mag size is lowest, joint with the Automatico. The fire rate is lowest, joint with the MP18. The max damage is the same as all the SMGs, but the minimum damage is better than the rest. The upwards recoil is the worst of all the SMGs, but on the flip side, the horizontal recoil is actually the best of the SMGs, conversely. Maybe they thought they should add something positive to the weapon. Oh, and also, the first shot recoil multiplier is also the best of all SMGs. Another best, the reload time is the best, joint with the Automatico. So there are a few pluses. The spread when you're stood still is second only to the MP18 Optical, and that's because it's an optical version, so that's good. but spread when moving is absolute shit. And to finish off nicely, the hipfire accuracy is bullshit. I will add something that I didn't include in the stats, and that is muzzle velocity, which is actually higher for the Ribeyrolles than any other SMG. So there's another positive for it. Okay, that's enough for facts. Now it's time for opinion. Okay, all in all, this SMG is definitely meh at best.
Mediocre.
You now know as much as I do about this SMG, and it seems to me that if you manage to control the upwards recoil, this SMG is best used from further away than all the other SMGs. That's the only conclusion I can come to. Shit mag size, shit fire rate, shit hipfire accuracy, shit aimed accuracy when moving, but it has a better damage and range, good accuracy when not moving, and it has the best first shot recoil multiplier, and it has the best horizontal recoil. So as far as I can see, this weapon is only good when you're stood still, far away from the enemy. Only then is it better than all the other SMGs. And maybe that's the point. That's my official Liquid Blitz conclusion for the Ribeyrolles 1918. Shit in all typical SMG situations, but better than the other SMGs when sniping. Despite all this bad news, don't let me dampen your spirits. Go unlock it and go use it and go find out for yourself. You might like it. I will say one thing. I will give one silver lining to this weapon. It feels powerful in your hands. The way it feels, the way it sounds, it's cool. Do you see what I mean? It may be shit on paper, but it's one of those guns that's satisfying to use because it feels and sounds powerful. It's weird. So my opinion right now is it's both shit and good. Revel in its shitness! Anyway, now you've had all the important facts and you've had my opinion about it. I want to know your opinion about it, genuinely. So leave a comment below if you've unlocked it and used it. Leave a comment and yeah, tell me how you feel about it. I mean, I don't know. The stats on paper, it sounds both shit and good. It doesn't sound like an SMG. Shit hipfire, oh God, I'm not going to go back into it again. But it sounds like the stats of an assault rifle. Does that make more sense? Slightly more accurate and less fast and accurate with like hipfire and so on. It sounds like an assault rifle to me. But that's my opinion. Anyway, I want to know what you think. Like this video if you liked it. Like this video if you didn't like it. Enjoy my next video. I'm going to make one of these videos for each of the new weapons. So expect a flurry of these videos in the coming days. I'm going to try and do at least one per day because I want these videos out as fast as possible. And then once I've done all those, I'm actually halfway through making a best medic weapon video. And then I'm going to do a best assault weapon, a best scout. So I've got loads of videos planned, so stay tuned. And now, just in case you need something to help you relax, something to help you metaphorically put your feet up after a hard day's work, some footage of me feeding my cat.